Hi everyone, my name is Joseph Fan. I'm a graduate of Cornell Law School and an attorney licensed in New York. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what a will is and the importance of having one. The following video is not legal advice. It is legal information. There's no attorney-client relationship created with this video. This video is not a substitute for speaking with an attorney, and you should always consult with your own attorney. The opinions I express in this video are not legal opinions. They're based on common sense. The only piece of legal advice in this entire video is to consult with an attorney. A last will and testament is probably one of those things you don't want to think about on a random weekend. It's also one of those things you'll be really glad you did. Regardless, we should all consider what would happen to our loved ones if we passed away. Writing a will is especially important if you're a parent or if you have people that depend on you. A last will and testament states how your assets will be distributed and utilized after you pass away. A living will or an advance directive states what you want done if you're ever in a vegetative state, irreversible coma, on life support, and you're not able to communicate your wishes. For example, if you've ever seen a document that says, "Do not resuscitate," that's a living will. Life is unpredictable, and tomorrow you can get in an accident and be put on life support. A living will is something you should have, just in case you're unable to communicate your wishes, especially in regards to life support. This is also important to think about because of COVID. A living will and a last will and testament are two different documents. In this video, I'm discussing a last will and testament. I'm going to be referring to that as a will for the rest of this video. First things first, what is a will? A will is a legal document with instructions for what happens to a person's assets after their death. If you die without a will, you're intestate, and the state's intestacy laws will determine what happens to your property. Do you need a will? It depends, but here are a few things to keep in mind. Without a will, you won't be able to give your property to a non-relative. You won't be able to exclude a relative. And if you have no wills and there are no relatives at the time of your death, your property is going to go to the state. If making sure that you can direct how your property is distributed after you pass away is important to you, then you should absolutely have a will. If you have minor children and you want to have a say in how they're raised and ensure they're taken care of by a guardian that you name, then you should absolutely have a will. If you want to avoid potential disputes or confusion regarding your estate, then you should absolutely have a will. Another benefit of a will, both a living will and a last will, is that your instructions are clearly given to your family or friends during a really difficult time. So how does it work? Here's a very basic rundown of a will. The testator is the person who is writing the will. We're going to assume that's you for this video. You name the executor who will administer the will. This is the probate process. You will name the beneficiaries. So these are the people or organizations that you'll be leaving your assets to. For example, your spouse, your children, your brothers or sisters, an organization. And if you have minor children, you can name a guardian for them. And you could also set aside funds specifically to care for your children or your pets. After that's all written, you'll review the will and sign it according to your state's laws. In New York, you have to have it notarized and signed by 2 disinterested witnesses. The executor does things like gather the property, keep financial records, pay outstanding debts and taxes, and then distribute the property to the beneficiaries described in the will. If you already have a will, you can update it with something called a codicil. How do you write a last will and testament? There are a lot of programs and software online to draft your own will. I'm sure there are also some videos out there that show you how to do your own dental work, but just because you can doesn't mean you should. Remember, my one piece of legal advice in this entire video, consult with an attorney. Once you draft a last will, life is uncertain and tomorrow is not guaranteed, especially now with the global pandemic taking place. The sooner you record your wishes, the better.